versus them. While we pay to keep our politicians fighting, how do we, the people, rise up and solve the great challenges of our time? We do it by embracing freedom and liberty. There may be no such thing as a free lunch, but this hour is as close as it gets. Welcome to A Free Solution.
All right, welcome to A Free Solution. I'm Kevin Wilson, your host for today. Thank you so much for joining us here on this wonderful Monday afternoon. Give us a call if you'd like to participate in the show, 585-346-3000. That's 585-346-3000. And we have a few things to talk about today, but most of it related to bail reform, criminal justice reform, and importantly, like the incidents that have sparked that conversation in our community. I'm going to talk first about the guy who attacked Lee Zeldin, the Republican candidate for governor, and then also, of course, we're going to talk about the police officer who was killed in Rochester as well, and kind of the rising violence in the Rochester area. What are the causes? What are the potential solutions? And then how do we frame that in terms of the policy debate that we're having now? So we'll talk about all that stuff. Again, if you want to participate in the show, make sure you give us a call, 585-346-3000. That's 585-346-3000, or leave your comments online. I already got one comment online from Shelly on YouTube. Hey, Shelly, thank you for joining us today. She says good afternoon. So again, appreciate y'all being here. So we're going to talk about what happened with Lee Zeldin, because it happened over in Fairport, right over by where I live, and right here in the Rochester region, is that there's a guy who tried to attack the candidate for governor, the Republican candidate Lee Zeldin. They're doing an event at there's a VFW out there, and the guy tried to attack him with like a little keychain thing. I don't know if you've ever seen these things, but like the one he had looked like a cat, and it has like little kind of sharp spikes on it, and tried to go after him in like slow motion. It was a little bit bizarre to watch on camera, but it kind of goes after him in slow motion. The attacker's name was David Jakubonis. I have no idea how to pronounce this guy's last name, but the whole thing is kind of sad, right? Like, again, it's why is he attacking this guy? What's going on with this dude's life? So when I first heard about it, like, oh man, like this must be like a political thing. Like I don't know exactly what caused this man to attack Lee Zeldin. Like he got up and he told him like, you're done. And then like kind of, again, weirdly slow motion tried to like do something, but Lee Zeldin like kind of grabbed his wrist, and then other people saw what was going on. People grabbed him, quickly subdued the guy, right? He was intoxicated, it seems. He's a veteran too. He had a hat on that said, he is a veteran of the war in Iraq, and clearly was going through some troubled times. And initially, after this attack happened, there's kind of some reporting on that about like who this guy was, what he was going through. I guess he's been going through a pretty bad time since his wife had died. Again, it's not to say that there shouldn't be consequences for this dude's actions. It's just that there's a lot of stuff that went wrong to him getting to this point of having making a very stupid decision. And so now we're at this point. Okay, this guy tries to attack Lee Zeldin, and then he gets charged with, I think it's like second-degree assault, and he gets released. And then now, Lee Zeldin is out there going, I'll quote his tweet that he put out. He says, "We cannot live in a state where someone who commits a felony trying to stab me on stage at a campaign rally then gets immediately released. New York's cashless bail law must be repealed. Kathy Hochul refuses to get this job done. I will." Okay. So yeah, this guy ended up getting out, right? Like he ended up getting out. Here's the part that is strange about this, right? This dude did try to attack a candidate for governor. He's facing federal charges too. It's not just a local thing, but in the initial aftermath, he was able to kind of be released on his own recognizance, because he was charged by the Monroe County DA's office with a crime that wasn't bail eligible. What's strange about that is that a lot of prosecutors like, well, why didn't the office charge him with a crime that was bail eligible? He tried to, again, he tried to stab someone. He would have been eligible to be charged with something more, a higher level of felony that would have made it so that he would be, again, would have to pay bail in order to get out. Again, what bail does is the bail reform, what it does is it doesn't mean that someone is held before trial, although the DA's office could have pushed for that. And, we'll kind of get into that in a little bit too. But it doesn't say that when someone commits a violent act, even if we say or is accused of committing a violent act, they're automatically held until trial. That's not what bail reform, that's not what bail does. That's not what bail reform got rid of. All bail reform does is it says that there are certain crimes where you don't have to put up money in order to be released prior to your trial date. That's all it does. It doesn't do anything else. And there are still crimes for which you can be charged bail. All bail is supposed to do is get you back in the court. It's a financial incentive to get you back in the court, because you or whoever else puts up the money for you would lose that money if you don't show up to your court date. That's it. It's not meant to hold people, because you could be charged with whatever crime, murder, whatever. If you get a serious, violent felony accusation against you, charge against you, you can still put up the bail and be out before your trial. Doesn't matter. It's just a matter of whether or not you can get that money. That's all this does. So this guy, he gets charged with a crime that is not bail eligible. And the part that's weird about that is that Lee Zeldin's going on about how this is a result of the bail reform laws that happen in New York State. But the co-campaign chair of his campaign, Sandra Dorley, someone who, but just full disclosure, like when I was the chair of the Libertarian Party, we endorsed her for her run for office, her run for DA, and I liked a lot of what she had to say, decided not to charge him with a bail-eligible crime. And again, it's not necessarily her making that decision all on her own. It could have been an ADA, but she oversees the office where those decisions got made. She's saying she's kind of recusing herself from this case. Okay, sure, but why didn't they charge this guy with that? And there might be a good reason. In fact, I think there is good reason to look at this case and say, well, this was a troubled man. This was a man who was clearly going through a bad time in his life. Luckily, his stupid decision didn't end up with someone actually getting hurt. And instead, no, he just got up there, made a sad attempt, and he was subdued immediately. Okay. With someone who's going through that kind of struggle, someone who may have had a bad time following his experience when he was sent to war, had a bad time with his wife passing away, seems like he's lost custody of his kids. With all this combined, isn't this an opportunity to offer a veteran help and a path to get out? I'm not saying it should be consequence-free, just a path to getting the help that he needs. And instead, what it's turned into is a cynical political ploy. Again, one in which there are people who could have sought, and in fact did get on the federal level, aggressive charges against this dude in order to, make sure that he stays detained prior to a trial in which he will likely be convicted of something for trying to attack Lee Zeldin, the candidate for governor. And instead of looking at this from a position of empathy and forgiveness and helping the people that Lee Zeldin says he wants to help, veterans, instead using this cynically because it's a more salient political issue as a conversation starter on criminal justice reform. And again, people within his campaign orbit, like Sandra Dorley, could have had the ability to give this guy bail. And again, keep in mind, even with the ability of charging this person with a bail eligible crime, it does not mean that he wouldn't get out anyway, because that's not how bail works. I'll repeat this over and over and over again, and because there's so much misunderstanding about this. And I'm not saying that the bail reform laws don't have some negative consequences. There aren't some things that we shouldn't change about them, but it's really important that people understand they do not actually keep people in jail prior to trial. It's just the money they have to put up, whether or not they have to put up money in order to get out prior to trial. That's it. That's all it does. All right. So when we come back, I want to, again, go into a little bit more about what we could do instead. What I hope that candidate for Governor Lee Zeldin does do in response to this, and how we can continue to look at everything going on through the lens of criminal justice reform and bail reform, and what are the actual consequences of that policy, and how does it impact safety in our region. Thanks again for joining us. Give us a call, 585-346-3000. Participate. We'll be back on A Free Solution in just a minute.
Your business relies on computers and technology to operate. Slow, unreliable networks and servers can cause unplanned downtime and affect your bottom line. The experts at Simple Tech Innovations are here to help. Their preventative maintenance program ensures that your computers and network are kept up to date and monitored for any issues, keeping your business running smoothly. They also help clients achieve HIPAA, PCI, and New York State cybersecurity compliance to keep your network safe and secure. Whatever your business IT needs are, Simple Tech Innovation should be your first call. They've won the best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. Call them today for a free consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. Simple Tech Innovations.
Hey, this is Kevin Wilson, host of A Free Solution. You ever need a tool for just one project, but didn't want to spend the cash for something you'd use just once or twice? Well, there's a new tool library in Rochester where you can borrow just the thing you need instead of buying a new one. It's called the Tool Shed from the Southeast Area Coalition, and membership starts at just $25 a year. Use it for home projects or to support your business. Learn more and become a member at seektoolshed.org. That's SEAC toolshed.org.
As a veteran of the United States military, I can finally get the opportunity to enjoy special events, things that we couldn't afford, thanks to VetTix. Every empty seat at a concert, a game, or a play is a missed opportunity to say thanks to a veteran and service member. We can give our veterans a special event where they too can create their own cherished memories. Visit vettix.org. Find out how you can make a difference in a veteran's life.
Only available in the WISL store at WISL1040.com. Official top quality tees, hoodies, and coffee mugs depicting the colorful WISL logo or the already famous Mount Worstmore line of merch depicting Mount Rushmore style are for worst presidents. Of course, you know who is front and center up on that mountain. WISL official items make perfect gifts, or they're a great way for you to make a personal statement. Locally produced and sold only in the WISL store at WISL1040.com.
A free solution on the WYSL stations.
Welcome back to A Free Solution. I'm Kevin Wilson, your host for today. Thanks again for joining us. Again, we're live here on WYSL until 2 p.m. Give us a call if you want to participate in the show, 585-346-3000. That's 585-346-3000. Or leave your comments online. Shelly on YouTube says, bail should be set at percentage of repeat offenders' assumed assets, and where criminals are hiding assets in other people's names, but control those assets. Yeah. So Shelly, I mean, again, the point of bail is supposed to be enough of something to incentivize you to come back and actually get you to show up to trial. Right. And what the bail reform in its best intentions, again, maybe not the best outcomes, but the best intentions were, okay, we don't want someone held in jail because they can't find someone to, or either have or find someone to scrape together, $1,000 for them or something to get out on bail. We don't want people held in detention prior to that. And most people, if they're accused of a crime, we don't want them held in jail prior to trial. And then the thing we'll need to look at, the data we need to look at is, okay, how many of those folks are then going out and committing crimes prior to their trial? You know, again, and would they have done that anyway, even under the old system of bail? And that's the policy question we have to answer. But again, I'll get to that in a bit, just because, you know, I want to get to this. I want to continue talking about this Lee Zeldin incident, and I'm going to get to a tweet by the sheriff of Monroe County too, Sheriff Baxter, and the sheriff's department, and get to that. All right, sounds like we have a caller on the line though, Mary Ellen from Webster. Mary Ellen, what's on your mind?
Well, I wanted to just clear a few things up, because I happened to be at the rally when Congressman Zeldin was attacked.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if you know that it was a sitting congressman and an attempted murder.
Yep.
I respect everyone's opinion, but it really seems that you're downplaying the severity of it. And you may not know, but I was right in the front, that Congressman Zeldin, as he was holding this man, it wasn't a keychain, it was an assault weapon that's sold as a defense mechanism, that told the vet, reassured him that he would help him. So it's these types of details are really important. And as far as Sandra Dorley's concerned, her recusing herself from the situation, she was in a no-win situation. I respect her for it, because many others wouldn't have. And we need to protect the people of the House. And I give everyone a congratulations on how this was handled, and support federal charges, because those were the ones that would be applicable for an assault on the member of a House. So thank you. And manipulating facts to fit an agenda isn't very helpful to the people by media. And I think that's part of the reason this country is the way it's in, and that we have such a significant divide. Thank you for your time.
Okay. Well, thanks for the call. And again, all the things that this caller said don't contradict what I said. Again, I said exactly what it is. It is a little cat keychain that could be used to hurt and kill someone, you know, if applied properly. But, you know, that being said, you know, I did want to get to that point about Lee Zeldin, again, Congressman Zeldin, whatever. Again, I hurting someone is hurting someone. I don't think it's special who you are. I'm sorry. I'm like, again, maybe that's the hardcore libertarian in me, but hurting someone is hurting someone. That's what it is. And in this case, Lee Zeldin saying, you know, I will help you. I would like to see him stick to that. And what he's done instead is, again, turn this into a cynical political ploy about bail reform. I hope he does stick to that, because again, his platform on veterans issues is actually pretty robust. He says that, you know, he wants to do a lot of things to help veterans. Again, this is a dude who's struggling. Again, it's not to say that guy shouldn't face any consequences. He played a stupid game. He's going to win a stupid prize. Tried to hurt someone, possibly tried to kill someone, and he's going to face punishment for that. But at the same time, what good does that ultimately do? Like, what do we want out of our criminal justice system? What do we want to happen in an incident like this? Like, is our society ultimately served by sending this dude to jail forever? Like, what does that ultimately serve? I don't think that helps anyone. Again, if this is someone who could be an otherwise productive and healthy member of society, if he got help, isn't that the optimal outcome? Isn't that the better thing to happen? I think that there are a lot of other people who are in that situation too, whose life needn't be defined by their stupidest moment. Again, this is someone who needs help, who Lee Zeldin said he would help, and again, is instead using him as why is he out? Why is he in jail? Again, you know why. Again, the office of the Monroe County DA could have charged him with that. Again, I'm not saying it was Sandra Dorley directly, and she's had to recuse herself because she's involved with the campaign, I'm sure. But the office should answer, well, why? And again, maybe the reason why is because the county's DA's office, again, part of the reason why I liked Sandra Dorley when my party endorsed her when I was chair is like, there's all these ways for people who are caught in bad situations, things like, ideas like veterans courts and, other special courts to get people help that they need, and to not let a stupid moment define their life, and to be able to find a way to pull them out of that hole to get them back into society again. And maybe there's a good explanation for how they charged, because that's what they were trying to do, is they were trying to redirect him into another system, another set of services. And that would make sense. And we should talk about that. And again, that's what I would like to see the candidate for governor, Lee Zeldin, talk about. Like, how can we make sure that veterans aren't left behind? That when someone does something like this, again, thank God no one was hurt. But when someone does something like this, what do we want to happen? What is the best outcome? Is it just punishment? Is it just like, gosh, we need to lock up anyone who does something bad like this forever and ever? I don't think that that's the best outcome. It's not the best outcome for our society to just keep locking up people over and over and over again. It's expensive, and it robs everyone of the opportunity to be able to succeed, even when they falter and do something dumb and even violent in one of the lowest points of their lives. Again, I'm not saying that he doesn't deserve punishment. I'm not saying that if you kill someone, if you hurt someone, obviously there needs to be punishment for that. There needs to be consequences. But what is the best outcome for a situation like this? I don't know that we're going to get to that. Again, it feels just so cynical to me to say, for Lee Zeldin to say, well, I'm going to help you, and then turn around and to use this as a political football like this. And maybe he'll answer that. Maybe he, in future speeches, he'll talk about this and veteran issues, and again, how this incident fits into maybe a more complicated and nuanced picture of criminal justice reform in New York State. But I doubt it. I don't think it's going to go that way. I think he's going to stay on message, and I think he's just going to continue to say, well, this is Kathy Hochul letting violent criminals out. It could be more complicated. It could be more nuanced than this. And I think if you can look at this outside of like that deeply cynical tribal political lens, you can see how this is a complicated situation, how this is messy. And most of the time it is messy. That's what it is. Again, people are messy, our systems are messy, and there should be paths for people to find forgiveness and to find a way to get help in some circumstance. Again, some folks they've hurt others too much. Some folks they're not interested in forgiveness. They're not interested in getting better. And maybe for those folks, that's punishment is the only way. I don't think it's the only way for many people, though. Not for everyone. Not everyone is lost. And we have more tools than simply saying lock everyone up forever. And I'll read this. We have a comment from Danny on Facebook says, "We'll go figure. The Republican Party is a party of heavy-handed punishment and all that." That's what it is. Again, the Democrats kind of almost go too far in the other direction sometimes. In other ways, not far enough. And I can get into the actual policies of criminal justice reform where they fell short, where they're probably going to go back on some of the good reforms that they did. But in this case, I think it's more complicated, and we have an opportunity to have a good discussion here about veterans issues, about what we want to happen in these situations. And instead, we're just going down a cynical path. Thanks again for joining us here on The Free Solution. Give us a call, 585-346-3000. That's 585-346-3000. We'll be back in just a few minutes. Talk to you soon.
Celebrating 35 years.
WYSL.
AM 1040 Avon Rochester, FM 92.1 Rochester, and FM 95.5 Spencerport.
Here's the latest forecast from the News 10 NBC Weather Center for tonight. Mainly clear skies, comfortably cool out there. We'll drop back into the 50s. Could be a little patchy fog in the valleys. On your Tuesday, another gorgeous day coming up. Plenty of sunshine, just a few puffy clouds out there. Still low humidity, lighter breezes. Temps near 80 on Wednesday. A warm front will approach. Could be a shower or a storm late in the day. Will turn slightly warmer in the 80s. Touch more humid as well midweek. I'm Rich Gadelia, WYSL.
Your business relies on computers and technology to operate. Slow, unreliable networks and servers can cause unplanned downtime and affect your bottom line. The experts at Simple Tech Innovations are here to help. Their preventative maintenance program ensures that your computers and network are kept up to date and monitored for any issues, keeping your business running smoothly. They also help clients achieve HIPAA, PCI, and New York State cybersecurity compliance to keep your network safe and secure. Whatever your business IT needs are, Simple Tech Innovations should be your first call. They've won the best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. Call them today for a free consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. Simple Tech Innovations.
Summer fun follows you both on and off-road thanks to your new ride from Victor Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, Anthony Drive off Route 96 in Victor. You can get savings and selection in America's favorite four-wheel drive vehicles like the 22 Jeep Compass Latitude 4x4, just $299 a month for 36 months. Speak on Quest, let's see. The 22 Ram 1500 Classic Warlock Quad Cab 4x4 pickup is just $259 a month for 36 months. Speak Conquest, let's see. Test drive the 22 Ram Power Wagon, 5 in stock to choose from. And here's a great way to save with special 0% APR savings through Chrysler Capital on Wagoneer Series 2 and 3 vehicles only during July. Victor has 4 vehicles in stock under this program, so hurry. Ask about program conditions. On Ram and Compass, first payment, DMV, taxes and fees due at signing. Other conditions may apply. See dealer for details. We're here to fully serve Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram customers in Victor, Canandaigua, Macedon, Fairport, and throughout the Metro and Finger Lakes. Victor Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, 6560 Anthony Drive in Victor.
Spin, spin, spin it, spin it. Spin the girl, spin the world, spin the girl. G world, GHI swirl. She's the girl, G world girl. She's the one, that's the one. She's the girl, G world girl. Never double spin when you're double tripping. Twirling it makes a super sucky swirl. Sick beat in your heart goes a rhythmic. From the crazy twisted twirl of the G world girl. Sophistication, application, dedication, expectation, conversation, concentration, hesitation, lingeration. Should be a wiki word. Nothing like a spin on the tourney thing. When the world goes inverted, does a flippy fling. Ringing your head drips iconic. Not so ironic for the iconic girl. Curly twisted twirly swirl for that girl. G-word lingerie at Show World.
Enter the world of Sherlock Holmes at Genesee Country Village Museum, August 6th and 7th. Step into history, mystery, and culinary delights of the literary world's most famous detective and his creator, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. You can test your sleuthing skills by taking part in a Sherlock-style mystery as it plays out in real time around the historic village. Don't miss a novel weekend at Genesee Country Village Museum, August 6th and 7th. Save on advance tickets at gcv.org.
Hi, Bob Savage here with a boost and good news for business owners and managers. We know it's been tough sledding with government working against you post-pandemic, so we've come up with a low-cost ad package, and for a limited time, once you're a WYSL advertiser, we'll run a bonus that's free extra schedule for job openings you're trying to fill. We'll feature your business and describe the positions you have open, all at absolutely no charge. At the WYSL stations, we're not just the voice of liberty, we're the small business friend. Call 346-3000 for details. All major credit cards welcome.
Wise Home Energy is looking for great people to join our team. Wise Home Energy excels at improving the comfort and efficiency of existing homes. And we are looking for installation technicians, heating technicians, office staff, and energy auditors. Full and part-time positions are available. Benefits include paid vacation, 401k, and competitive pay. Become part of our team and make a difference in our clients' homes. Call or text Wise Home Energy at 585-270-5836 or online at wisehomeenergy.com.
A free solution on the WYSL stations.
Welcome back to A Free Solution. I'm Kevin Wilson, your host for today. Thank you so much for joining us here today. We're live on WYSL until 2 p.m. Give us a call, 585-346-3000. That's 585-346-3000. And, of course, leave your comments online, too. We're live on the Free Solution Facebook page, Free Solution YouTube channel, the Kevin Wilson pages, and, of course, on the podcast, too. Not live on the podcast, but you can always catch the podcast afterwards. Just search for Free Solution anywhere you listen to podcasts, or go to WYSL1040.com. Look for the podcast there as well. And we'll get to a couple of comments. Danny online is mad that I didn't read her whole comment. And I honestly, Danny, I didn't understand the second half of the comment is about the I think it's a dig at Blue Lives Matter stuff. We'll talk about police issues in the second half of this show. So we'll see. And then Paula online says, one of the reasons I left the GOP was their lack of compassion on these issues. Yeah, and again, it's one of my frustrations with the GOP is just a lot of this feels cynical. Again, it's about pushing sometimes a misleading narrative about how the criminal justice system works and not having a good discussion about what the solutions are. Again, I'm not saying that the Democrats are better in this, because they're not, because a lot of times they ignore the real consequences of violence in communities. And that's something that Rochester's facing right now, right? Again, and I'm not saying that Democrats don't care about that in Rochester. They do. But, we just had, our 44th homicide in Rochester. And now a police officer was killed. Anthony, sorry, I got to make sure I pronounce his name right. Anthony Mazurkowicz. And another police officer shot too. Again, it's an awful situation. I think that there's an element of the far left who can kind of dismiss those concerns of violence that has a real impact on the quality of life. And part of that solution is policing. Again, I'll say this, folks accuse me of being anti-police. I'm not anti-police. I think that they're part of that solution. There are issues with individual police officers, their conduct, and how they approach public safety in many situations. But I think they are part of that solution. Is sometimes you need to meet violence with force, and that's the way it has to go. And that's where I'm at on that issue. It sounds like we have a caller on the line, though. John, what's going on?
Hey, Kevin. I got to agree with the last caller that you got. I think you have downplayed that incident too much. This guy tried to kill, as far as we know, a standing member of the U.S. Congress. That's a very severe charge and a very severe assault on a congressional person in our government. And what I think could happen is let it play out during the court system over a period of a month or a year, whatever it takes to get this guy convicted, and then the sentence would be deemed out. But initially, this should be taken very, very seriously, because it sets up a precedent for other. And if this guy's got some mental problems, there's a lot of other people out there like him that could say, hey, there's not a lot of consequences here, and what do I have to lose type of thing in their mind.
John, I don't think that's true. I don't think anyone with mental health issues is like, well, I can go and try to stab a congressman and it's fine. No one's going to care. Again, dude is getting charged with federal charges and
I got to
state
tell you,
charges
you're
too.
living in a dream world with that statement.
But no, I mean, that's ridiculous. Of course there's consequences. Of course there's going to be consequences. This is a serious thing. And as I said, He played a
So
stupid
you're
game.
not.
He's
You're
going to win a
saying
stupid prize.
you're telling me there's not going to be a copycat situation out there. It happens all the time with the shooters, all types of crimes, copycats, and for you to say that it's not going to happen, it's not going to be a copycat situation.
I think
really,
I think if your
you got-
intent is to hurt a member of Congress, like you're not really thinking through whether or not you're going to be punished or not. You're probably assuming you're going to be punished in most situations. Again, unless you're so mentally unwell that you can't like see through the consequences of that. And again, wouldn't you agree that this guy is like in a trouble state? Again, he's going to face consequences for his actions, but like, what is the optimal outcome here for a troubled veteran like this guy? Like, what is the optimal outcome that you want to see? Is it that he goes to jail for the rest of his life?
No, not at all. Not at all. You know, I would say let it play it over a year after research is done, investigation is done, etc. But initially, you have to be severe, and this is a serious situation, and it's going to create copycat incidents like this.
And again, what's not serious about this? He's getting charged. And again, if he were charged with a bailable offense, he would still be able to get out if he could get the bail money, right?
At that point, I'm just arguing that you've downplayed the severity of this guy's actions. It's going to create copycat situations. It happens all the time.
Listen, there's people who try to do this stuff a lot, and again, most of the time they get caught before they're able to do anything serious.
Well, you got rose-colored glasses on, I'll tell you that.
Okay, that's sure. I mean, you could say that if you want, but again, I think if you are at the point where you think it's okay to go and hurt a member of Congress, you're assuming that there's going to be consequences, and you're going to be. I don't think that someone's going to say, I can get away with it now, because this guy's not getting away with it. He's getting charged. Like that's ridiculous to say that, man.
My point is I agree with the lady from I think she was from Fairport. I agree with her. You've downplayed the severity of this. That's my point.
No, I haven't downplayed the severity of this at all.
Yes,
I said that I don't like the way that Lee Zeldin is approaching this. I think he's being cynical.
Both of us have agreed that you've downplayed it.
I think you're wrong, John. Like you can disagree. It's fine. I love when you guys call in and disagree, but
let's get some more callers.
Go ahead.
Downplayed it, in my opinion.
Give us a call, 585-346-3000. Give us a call. Again, I don't think that I've downplayed this at all. I think that what we do next is important, and how we approach these issues is important. And I think that the way Lee Zeldin has approached this is cynical. I really do, because it has nothing to do really with bail reform, like nothing at all. But he's trying to use that issue because he knows it's salient with folks in this campaign. And I have never said, no matter what John or the previous caller tried to put the words in my mouth, I've never said that this isn't something that I don't take seriously. Again, dude tried to stab a candidate for governor / member of Congress. It's serious, and he's going to face consequences. The question that I'm trying to answer is, what do we do about that? Does this actually have anything to do with bail reform? The answer is no, not really. And what's the optimal outcome? Those are the questions that I want answered. And again, I'm not going to like sit here and let callers misrepresent what I'm trying to say. So again, I would love to hear from other folks. Give us a call, 585-346-3000. It's 585-346-3000. And I'm happy to continue discussing it with you. But if you call in and you misrepresent what I'm saying, then yeah, I'm not going to sit here and take that. And again, I don't think this has anything to do with bail reform. It's not. It's an issue where they could have charged him with a bailable offense. And again, if we charged it, if the DA's office charged him with a thing that requires bail, he could have still gotten out anyway. That's what it is. Sounds like we have another call on. Eric from Rochester. We're coming up a break, so make it quick, Eric.
Absolutely. I think you just touched on it when I was on the phone with the screener. Essentially, it does have something to do with bail reform when he was initially released, and working a lot, with the police in Rochester. You see these guys, they get released. I don't think that there would have necessarily been any repercussions for him Had there not been such an outcry from the public and him getting picked up after the fact, unfortunately, we live in a time where equal justice under the law is really not a thing. And so for people to be cynical that he would have ever had any repercussions on this, in my opinion, is completely justified. That's my take on it. And, the bail reform thing, essentially for him to be let out because of the bail reform laws, initially, that's wrong. How do you attack a congressman and then get arrested and immediately released? That's nonsensical. And that right there tells me that our system is broken, whether or not he was picked up after the fact again. That's it.
Yeah, and like just so I understand, like you're saying that he probably should have been held until trial. Like that's something like the DA's office should have requested.
He should have been held what?
Held until his trial.
Absolutely. If anybody else with, even I wouldn't see, definitely lesser serious offenses, but, they used to be. And unfortunately, we see a round robin of things where they commit these crimes, they get released, and then usually escalate the situations on the street. I've seen it firsthand in my business. I'm in property management, and literally we'll have somebody arrested. They come back out and they do the same thing 3 or 4 times, and usually it escalates each time. It's that portion of our system is absolutely broken.
Mm-hmm. All right, so I appreciate the call, Eric. We do got to get the break though, but I'll talk about that point that you just mentioned when we come back about folks getting rearrested and whatnot, and get to some of these other comments in line. Again, thanks for the call, everyone who's called in. 585-346-3000. That's 585-346-3000. If you want to participate in the show, we're gonna be back here in A Free Solution in just a few minutes.
The WYSL store is now open. With nicer weather, your car needs an official Voice of Liberty bumper sticker. There's a great selection to help you show your love of God, the Constitution, and free and safe schools. Here are just a few available. Shut Up, Fauci, Kathy Hochul, Save America, Support the Second Amendment, Scam Alert, January 6th, God, Please Help Us, Close the Mexican Border, Save America, Stop Voting for Democrats. And there are gas pump stickers reading, Democrats did this. These are standard weather-resistant bumper stickers guaranteed to get you horn honks and thumbs up in traffic. Choose from other locally made WYSL Voice of Liberty merch too, like tees, hoodies, drinkware, and more. Perfect gifts for any Liberty lover. Check out the exclusive WYSL Mount Worstmore shirts, hoodies, and coffee mugs depicting our 4 worst presidents. Guess who's front and center? Shop the WYSL store at WYSL1040.com.
Why do businesses choose to move their website from Wix and Squarespace to Simple Tech Innovations? Maybe it's their excellent customer service or attention to detail. Maybe it's their ability to give a truly customized solution. Or perhaps they just like the fact that Simple Tech is a local small business that builds great relationships with its clients. Whatever the reason may be, you can rest assured knowing that the local team at Simple Tech has your best interest in mind when building or updating your website. They're hands-on and love helping customers achieve their goals. But don't take my word for it. They've won the best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. If your website doesn't match your dreams or isn't achieving your goals, give the professionals at Simple Tech Innovations a call today for a consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. Simple Tech Innovations.
Hey, this is Kevin Wilson, host of A Free Solution. You ever need a tool for just one project, but didn't want to spend the cash for something you'd use just once or twice? Well, there's a new tool library in Rochester where you can borrow just the thing you need instead of buying a new one. It's called the Tool Shed from the Southeast Area Coalition, and membership starts at just $25 a year. Use it for home projects or to support your business. Learn more and become a member at seektoolshed.org. That's SEAC toolshed.org.
A free solution on the WYSL stations.
All right, welcome back to A Free Solution. I'm Kevin Wilson, your host today. Thanks again for joining us. Active show today. Lots of callers. Love it. Even when you guys are mad at me, it's all right. I appreciate you hearing your opinions, and I am listening to you again. I understand. I knew I was gonna make some folks mad about this, but give us a call 585-346-3000 if you want to participate in the show. And I didn't get a chance to answer kind of the ending part of Eric's comment, the last caller, and you talked about like folks who are, you know, going and committing crimes and then kind of getting released immediately and then going committing the same crimes over and over again, sometimes with, you know, increasing severity. That is one of those issues that like probably ought to be addressed in any new iteration of bail reform, criminal justice reform, right? It's those folks who are constantly getting out. Sometimes they're like again, they're mentally unwell too, you know, that they probably need to go somewhere else, get other treatment elsewhere. But with those folks, that is something we do need to address. It's if the system that we have now says that until they're actually found guilty of a crime, they probably ought not to be held in jail, or at least held, you know, because of bail, because they're not able to pay. There does need to be some system in which judges can, particularly in cases of repeated crimes, hold someone prior to trial if they are a risk to hurt others, right? Again, and I don't know exactly what that thing. Now, I'll say this like that statistically, and fortunately I didn't come prepared with that in front of me, but statistically it's pretty rare. There's only a very small number of people who are released pre-trial on their own recognizance and then go out and commit other crimes. Like it's just not that many as an overall whole. But there are some, and for those folks who do that, there needs to be a way of pretty quickly providing some sort of mostly objective assessment for how to determine that someone can be held pre-trial. Again, that's probably going to be a mess in other ways, but I get the need for that. And I think that tweaking that part of the bail reform bill and finding a way to do that would do a lot of good and alleviate some of the perceived problems of this. And again, I'm probably not going to get to it in today's show. I was going to do some stuff about like the rising crime, the stuff that got put out by the Monroe County Sheriff's Department, and kind of dive into a few other things. But I want to make sure I get these comments too. Online. So Paula says, I feel bad for Zeldin. Hate that happened. But people in New York get assaulted with more severity than this, and perps walk too. I'm glad Zeldin's okay, and I also hope other crime victims in New York who are not okay get justice. Yeah, again, I think this should be treated as seriously as anyone else who gets assaulted, right? Again, we ought to treat people equally. I don't put anyone, particularly politicians, up on a pedestal in these situations. Again, it is a serious thing. I'm very curious to find out like what this guy's like motivations were, but I don't know. I don't know why he did what he did. It is something I take seriously, but again, that does happen to other people too, and so we need to decide, or at least like make sure that all of us understand the framework. When someone does something like this, what ought to happen to them? Should they be held prior to trial? Again, with something that's as public as this, it isn't still an accusation that needs to go through the criminal justice process, but you know, it was on camera. We saw it. What happens in this situation? And in the meantime, again, is what's going on with people who are released. How often they have to check in? Are they getting other support? You know, mental health treatment, like whatever. You know, that's what is and ought to happen in these situations. And how do you get someone through the criminal justice process where they can face appropriate punishment and or get support to become a healthy and functioning member of society again? And I think that's the missed opportunity in this situation. Mark Patora on Facebook says, what difference does it make that he was a veteran? He shouldn't be treated any differently than anyone else. I mean, that's fair. I thought this was a missed opportunity and maybe he'll still do this. I think this is a missed opportunity for Lee Zeldin to talk about his veterans platform, because a lot of veterans, not all of them, but some of them come back from wars that we shouldn't have been in the first place. And they have, you know, mental health challenges. They have trauma, and when those men and women are struggling with that, I think the government does owe them help, because again, the government was the one who put them in that situation. That being said, to Mark's comment, like I think I would apply this to other situations too. I think that there are other folks who are caught up in, you think of like teenagers who are caught up in like stupid moments. They get in a fight that goes too far, and they threaten to hurt someone or actually hurt someone, and that's a culmination of all their stupid moments, their peer pressure, a broken family life, desperation, probably. It's all these things that come together and culminate in a stupid moment that could end up with them in jail for, decades in some situations. And for those folks too, I think there should be a path to being able to get out and heal and do better. Because the optimal situation isn't for me to pay for them to be in jail. The optimal situation, and again, sometimes that's the only option. I get it. But the optimal situation is to make sure they're healthy and able to survive and do well on their own without hurting others. That's the optimal situation. That's what I would like to see a criminal justice system that does. It's not to lock up all the bad people forever and ever. It's to make sure that if you do something stupid, we do everything we can to set you up to not do that stupid thing again. And it is both more just and, frankly, cheaper to do it that way. It's not just about punishment. And Shelly on YouTube says, I don't think you're downplaying the issue. I think you're confronting bail reform and criminal justice reform. I don't understand why you're being confronting the issues. Yeah, I mean, again, I knew that this is something that's tough. This is something that is challenging to understand. Again, I don't want to downplay, and I'm not downplaying that Lee Zeldin was attacked. It's, again, what happens next? How should we deal with a situation like this when someone who committed a crime, who's going to face some sort of punishment? How do you get them back on the path of being able to live their life again? Isn't that the better solution? And does this have anything to do with bail reform? Would making tweaks to bail reform solve this situation? Again, would we solve this problem by holding anyone who is accused of a violent crime indefinitely? Would that solve the problem in some of these cases? Well, maybe. Again, you're going to run some problems with that when you have accusations of violent crimes, and if you are being held without being found guilty of something yet, that is a violation of due process. That's a violation of the Fifth Amendment. That's a violation of our fundamental rights. The government cannot deprive you of your right to liberty without proving you have committed a crime. Again, in this case, maybe there's a case for the local DA or the federal government to push for pretrial detention or mandated services or something like that, and we'll see what comes of this. And again, that would be the better outcome in this situation. And then Paul on Facebook says, great show, by the way. All right, thank you. Appreciate the comment there. And Daniel on Facebook says, I'm a combat vet and transitioning is horrible. Almost no community support, especially back in 2005. Zero from police or other community leaders. Yeah, Daniel, that's the problem where I hope Lee Zeldin steps up and talks about that. No, Larry talks about that a lot, Larry Sharp, but we're out of time. I know we had a few more comments here I didn't get to. Thanks again to everyone listening today, everyone participating in the show today. We'll be back on Wednesday. Have a wonderful, wonderful day, folks.
Summer adventures, savings, and